Satan Prasanga.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, and welcome to today's session. How are you doing? I pray that all is well with you and your families at this time. So today we're going on to a very beautiful letter. It's one of the historical pastimes of ISKCON. And it's the pastime of the printing of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and how by the deep faith in the words of the spiritual master, something that's totally impossible became possible. So let's see this letter. It's a letter to Rameshswaram. So it's a letter to Rameshswaram, and Prabhupada addresses it as Rameshswaram and Company. So Rameshsvara Prabhu was in charge of the BBT at that time, 1975, around that time. Rameshsvara and Radha Vallabh Prabhu, these two are the main devotees who were in charge of the printing at that time in Los Angeles. So this letter is directed towards them. So Prabhupada starts here. He says, letter to Rameshsvara and Company, Vrindavan, 1st September 1975. And then he writes the numeric in reverse, the date. Los Angeles, my dear Rameshsvara and Company, please accept my blessings. I am in due receipt of your letter dated 31st August 1975. So it's one day later. This letter is dated 1st of September, and Prabhupada received their letter on the 31st of August. So within one day he replied. I've never seen another letter where Prabhupada has replied so quickly. So this shows a lot of enthusiasm, and there's something serious here in this letter. So let's see what Prabhupada has to say. And the 6 new volumes of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So the books have increased, and they are all very nicely done. I think I may stop all touring and just sit down here for translating. So Prabhupada is firing them up. He said, if you all carry on like this, I'll just stop everything. I'll just sit down here with you all and we'll just translate and do books. And wouldn't these devotees love that, So Prabhupada uses these things because he knows how they love him. So he uses these things to inspire them. So the history of it is, just quickly, that Prabhupada gave a class, that famous class, you may know it. Prabhupada gave that class about distributing books, that my Guru Maharaj wanted me to distribute these books, and then he said that, there's a lot of quarrel in Bagh Bazaar, Gaudiya Math at that time, and I should sell all the marble of this temple and print books. So at that time, Prabhupada took this. He says, I took this from his mouth, that he's very fond of books. So then Prabhupada requests everyone, kindly help me distribute books, kindly help me with this matter. So if you remember that lecture, it is based around this incident where Prabhupada is encouraging them to help him with this Chaitanya Charitamrita. So he was so inspired with Chaitanya Charitamrita that he translated it all in 18 months. But BBT wasn't ready for the printing. So they were delaying, and Prabhupada was getting upset. So after giving that lecture, the next day on Venice Beach, Prabhupada was walking, and then he stopped and then he said, I want all this 17 volumes of Chaitanya Charitamrita to be printed in 2 months. This was really unheard of. It's impossible that to print 17 volumes in 2 months. So when Rameshsvara Prabhu heard this, he short-circuited. And he just like, yes, Prabhupada, okay. So he walked a little more, and then he said, Prabhupada, I think, if we work fast enough, we can kind of do this, our current goal was one volume every 4 months. Now I think we can do one volume a month. So he brought it down to one volume a month. So 17 volumes will take 17 months. Prabhupada wasn't buying any of this. Prabhupada stopped. In Leelamrita it's described, he stopped, he planted his cane into the ground and he said, I want all of this done in 2 months. Now he heard it for the second time and everybody heard it. Tamakrishna Maharaj was there and Brahmananda were on his left side, and on his right side was Rameshsvar and Radhavallabh Prabhu. So they heard it. Prabhupada wants this done in 2 months. This is impossible. So then the famous saying arose at that time when Rameshsvar told Prabhupada, he says, Prabhupada, this is impossible. And Prabhupada stopped and looked at him and he said, impossible is a word in the fool's dictionary. So he said, impossible is only found in a fool's dictionary. When you're the devotee of the Lord, anything is possible. Anything is possible. So at this moment, his faith is being questioned. Do you have faith in what I'm saying? Prabhupada is like asking him, and do you have faith in Krishna that he can help you achieve this in 2 months? So he was really being tested. It was an incredible feat. So this letter is based on that story. So the devotees now in Los Angeles started to move the BBT printing there. They got a new place. They got it done. It took 1 month to put that whole thing together. And now they started to print the books. And you must know, they didn't even have any paintings. Nobody knew what Lord Chaitanya looked like. So they had nothing. And Prabhupada is saying 2 months? From nothing, no paintings, no anything, editorial stuff. And the Sanskrit editor or the Bengali editor at that time was difficult. He was having trouble editing. So they told Prabhupada, they thought about it and they said, Prabhupada, okay, we're going to try and I think we can do it, but we need access to you to verify certain things. And that's why Prabhupada is saying here now, I'll just stop everything and sit here with you all till this is over. All touring will stop. I will just sit and translate. And they were ecstatic, and it was a really something that was impossible was becoming possible. This is really an amazing pastime. So Prabhupada goes on to say here, you have taken seriously the publishing and also the distributing of these books, and that is the success of our mission. So remember, Prabhupada shared with them a day or two before in that class that this is my Guru Maharaj's order. I took this from his mouth, Prabhupada said. I took this from his mouth, that he's very fond of books. So Prabhupada is so happy that he could fulfill the desire of the spiritual master. This is a very deep thing, to have that implicit faith in the Guru, in the words of the spiritual master. Yasya deve parabhakti yata deve tata guru. In the Shastra it's describing that for one who has implicit faith in the words of the spiritual master, all the imports of the Vedas are revealed. Very powerful. Prabhupada goes on to say here, you have taken seriously this work, and I know my Guru Maharaj is pleased with you because he wanted this. So Prabhupada is so pleased with them because he's saying, this is my Guru Maharaj's wish, and you helping me with that, what a blessing you will get. You must hear the blessing that comes at the end. Prabhupada goes on to say, so by this your endeavor, you will all go back home, back to Godhead. Wow! So Prabhupada told all those devotees who assisted in the printing and publishing of this Chaitanya Charitamrita 17-volume set in 1975, he said, all of them, by the blessing of my Guru Maharaj, you will all go back to Godhead. Wow, amazing. I remember Devamrita Maharaj was also part of that group. He narrated the story in Vrindavan once. So this is an amazing pastime. Prabhupada goes on to say, let me first of all finish Srimad Bhagavatam, then we can take up others. So I wish to also thank you for your cooperation. So see what he noted, that you all cooperated with what I wanted. Cooperation. Very deep point. Cooperation in service, cooperation in working with other devotees, cooperation with your mind, cooperation with your body, cooperation with everything around you. So very deep point. Prabhupada goes on to say, because of your cooperation, therefore it has been possible for me to publish alone the first 3 volumes. I had to take so much trouble, but by the cooperation of all my American boys and girls, now this has become possible. So when the Prabhupada is talking about his early years in Chipivada, when he would write BTG articles, come to Delhi and print them, bind them, go back to Vrindavan, bind them, staple them, print them, set them as a booklet, go back to Delhi and distribute them on the streets there. So Prabhupada would do everything, publishing, printing, distributing, everything. That one pastime where he fainted in the summer sun in Delhi. So that all happened during that time. But Prabhupada is saying, now you American boys and girls are helping me so much, all of this is being taken care of. He's so happy about this. Prabhupada is saying here, you promised on Vyasa Puja day and it has come. Wow. So Prabhupada is saying, you told me this on Vyasa Puja day that we will offer this to you and you have done it. So Prabhupada is so happy with them. Just see. Although Nitai has come a little late just after our ceremony, anyway, what you have done is good. Nitai has said he has brought advanced verses for 7th canto and this will help me. Nitai was to come on the 20th, but now he has come with the substance. So I am very much pleased. So Prabhupada is pleased, although at that date this devotee Nitai came a little late, but he is very pleased with what the devotees have done. He goes on to say, the pictures are all wonderful. The artists tease me with so many questions about this and that, but they have done nicely. So it is all right. So you all go on with your work and I will pray to Krishna for your ever advancement in his service. This is the point we were making yesterday, that when the Guru prays for you, he may not be doing much for you, he may hardly see you, but every day he's praying for you. And when he prays as a pure devotee, Krishna has to listen. That's why we're still able to follow the principles and carry on every day. It's by his blessing. Prabhupada goes on to say here, I hope this meets you in good health. Your ever well-wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. So what a wonderful letter. It was such an inspiring story that something almost impossible, actually it is impossible, but the devotees managed to pull it off because Prabhupada wanted it and the desire of the spiritual master. So we see the same thing happening here in Mayapur, this Chandadoy Mandir, this TOVP, Temple of Vedic Planetarium, that's coming up here in Mayapur. It's also Prabhupada's desire. And it's almost going to be ready too in 2022. And it's going to be amazing because from here, the message of Lord Chaitanya will spread all over the world. all over the universe. So I hope you learned something from today's class and you were inspired by something. Please join us again tomorrow. Hare Krishna.